tires are Tusk Megabite tires, 30 by 10 by 15. Marauders, welcome back to the channel. It's a shop day. I can tell by my shop shirt that I wear. Also, it's very rainy outside. And I have a punctured tire on the Honda Talon. Let's take a look at that. Happened at Majestic Lost Trails on the 4x4 trail. I also call it the mud trail. And I knew the weakness of these tires. These tires that come on it, I think they're a Maxxis OEM tire, maybe just for this Honda Talon. I like the tread itself was good. I knew, like we all know who are experienced in this hobby, OEM tires are weak, especially the sidewall, and that's exactly what happened. This tire performed well on the trail in moderate mud, but I knew the sidewall was weak, and look at where it blew out. In my last video on the Talon, I detailed the blowout on this. Disappointing. Last thing I wanted to do was spend tires on this machine, but I've upgraded to a set of Tusk. Let's go look at those. Something I do not usually do, but I did. I upgraded the Tusk. Terabyte tires have excellent reviews online. I wanted something a little more aggressive for the mud, because usually in the spring and fall and winter we're in mud. And I went with the Tusk Megabites, relatively new. They're comparable in many ways to a Carnivore tire by Maxxis. Excellent tire. I wanted it, just couldn't get the right size. And I also went with Tusk rims, 15-inch rims in a gunmetal color finish on them, which I think is going to go really well with the silver accents on the Talon. I'm going to fill this tire up with air just to move it around in the garage with my Milwaukee M12 cordless air compressor. Let's put 20 pounds in it. But I should have brought this compressor. I had a cheap cordless compressor on the trail that worked fine. It has been a long time since I purchased, actually, I think when I bought my first side-by-side, a 2006 Polaris Ranger XP at the time, really changed the world with that machine. I did put Maxxis Mudlight tires on that machine. I knew nothing about side-by-side or very little about off-road riding. And I just, through a little bit of research, I was just getting familiar with the internet, and I researched the Maxxis Mudlight tires, because I had to clean up after the October storm in the woods area of my property. By the way, that machine, nothing could do as good a job as that machine. Even my heavy equipment at the time. So it's kind of neat having new tires. Someone told me, might have been Don, the trip coordinator, or his brother Mikey, Godfather of Mud, that tires are the #1 accessory or the item purchase for ATVs or off-road vehicles. I probably believe that. Mike, I had so much help from, I used to call him Commander Andy. Now he's going to be changed because he's got a Maverick RR XMR. From Andy in our group, Steve, Mikey. Mike gave me some great advice. He said, try Rocky Mountain's site. They have a tire tool on their site, and you put in your machine and it helps you select a tire. And I must say, that is a nice site for looking for tires. That Rocky Mountain website, I think it's Rocky Mountain ATV. There it is, baby. Tusk, powersports.com, megabytes, 30 by 10 by 15. I didn't say that. Probably should have started the video off with the size of the tires. Very nice website if you're looking for tires. And I'll talk a little bit more about why I selected this brand of tire when I get a little, maybe at the end of the video. Want to tell you they ship this relatively fast. I had it in 3 days. They do put the wheel spacers, I need 1.5-inch spacers on the rear end of this so they line up with the front tires on it. And they did put the spacers inside the rim, just like these new lug nuts are, spline attached lug nuts. And you know, don't be surprised if you don't have any boxes when you get your tires. They're probably inside the rim. Let's look at some of the tools that I'm going to use. Let's look at my tools. Milwaukee 1/2-inch drive, very M18, very heavy duty impact. I'm not going to use all of that. I'll have it set on one. My torque wrench. I'm going to torque Honda. It took me a long time to find it in the Honda manual. They recommend 80 foot-pounds on the lug nuts. I'm also going to use Loctite on the wheel spacers. These are really nice wheel spacers. It was nice one shop at Rocky Mountain. Really nice wheel spacers. These are torqued down at, I'm going to torque them at 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to put Loctite on the lug nuts when I attach them, or the wheel spacer nuts. You do need a thin wall socket. Let's take a look at that. When you put the bolts in, you do need a thin wall socket. An impact socket, 19 millimeter will not clear, so you can't use an impact socket on that. So I'm going to mount these. These go on the rear, and these are so the rear tires will line up with the front tires. 1.5-inch wheel spacers. Thank you, Steve, Honda Steve, and thank you, Maverick Andy, for pointing that out. For the lug nuts with the rims, because of the design of the rims, you cannot fit a standard lug nut into the rim, so you have to go with these spline lug nuts. If you can see that, I'll put a light up on it. On the rims, so they give you, well, they don't give you, you have to buy it, the lug nut spline driver, and that's how I'll put the lug nuts for the tires. I am going to do the front tires first because I've went up from a 28-inch tire to a 30-inch tire, and really the 28 tires only measure 26.5 when they're on the machine, maybe 27 inches. So now I wanted to go to a 30-inch tire, which is 30 by 10 by 15. Actual measurement, it is a 30, a little over 30 in diameter. It's probably only 9.5, 9 3/4 wide. So I'm going to do the fronts first to make sure the tire is clear, and then I'm going to do the rear tires, put the spacers on. So let's do the front. This is a Harbor Freight. I bought it at Harbor Freight. Might be Pittsburgh Tools motorcycle jack. I have to tell you, it was not a lot of money, and I do like that jack. And it's hard for me to stop buying at Sears and start buying at Harbor Freight, but I guess that was inevitable, right? I wanted to give you a look at it before I put the tires on it. And again, the front end's high because I just dropped the springs. And remember, it's a live valve. Comparison size, diameter of the two lug nuts, if you can see that. Oh boy. And I'll weigh these. I'll weigh these after I get the fronts on. That front tire was very light. I'll make sure she's flush on there. Wow, are those pretty or what? Wow, those look nice. Looks like there's a lot of clearance on it. I'm gonna move it around a little bit, get it to settle down. Oh man, I'm loving it. Lot of clearance. That's fully locked out. Now you saw it really dropped into. That's that live valve suspension. But I love it. I hope they perform well. Still looks a little high in the front end. You know, I'll measure the rear end ground clearance. Let's fully lock this out. So I think she's gonna clear. I think they have more than enough clearance in there. But I can see where Honda Steve told me 32s would not work. And I filled my garage up with carbon monoxide. Yeah, I think we're good. I would not want to go bigger than 30-inch tires. So let's take a quick measurement of the back. See how high it is before I change the tires. I actually thought it was more than that. So it's reading about 12 1/4 inches on the very back. We'll see how it is when I put the new tires on. Running low on Loctite in this leaking bottle. So I don't know if this Honda, when you put it in park, if it turns the brake on, but it appears that it does. When you put the Honda in park, look at that, it turns the brake on, and that really saved me a lot of aggravation. So I was very close to the torque I needed to be at. Maybe all side-by-sides do that, I don't know. And remember, this has that electronic braking. That's how the all-wheel drive works. Wow, does that make that easy? That makes that super easy. Brought a broom handle out to use it to torque. I never take the plastic off. No, I never take the plastic off. It's not the brake that's on, the differential is locked through the transmission for the car. So wasn't thinking when I did the other side, thought I had to use some type of bar. And I'm using Loctite on this, and I'm going to tighten it down to the same torque as it said to do the lug nuts. There was no directions that I could find from Tusk, from Rocky Mountain, on what to tighten these spacers down. And these spacers are just, it's got to be aluminum, it's light. These spacers are just so nice. Just very nice. And we're going to use a thin wall socket. And it appears they gave me an extra nut. I hope I put 4 on the other one. I'll have to watch the video. But it appears they gave me an extra nut for the wheel spacers. So that's tight. Torque wrench is set to 80 foot-pounds, same as what the lug nuts call for. Again, there wasn't anything in the directions. It said what to tighten them at, so I just went with a torque nut setting, the lug nut setting of 80 foot-pounds. Nice up. Let's measure the tires with the rear tire. $46 pounds, if you can see that. The stock front tire. Ooh, light. Very light. 38.5 pounds. The new tires, I'm gonna guess they're close to 60 pounds. 57.5 pounds. Interesting. Look at the manifold on this engine. I don't know if you can see me in this video. Man, what a machine. My daughter doesn't like, see, the center cap has plastic on it. I never take the plastic off my mirrors or my touch screens on my car, and it drives my daughter crazy. It was nice to have the right tools for this job. This is the lowest setting on this impact wrench. Not even 80 foot-pounds. Just to snug it up and then I'll snug it down. Okay, that's done. Let's drop her. Take a look at it. We'll grab that measurement. Man, I'm dying to take this on a drive now. You guys know what it's like when you do something, a mod on your machine. You've been there. You're just dying to take it for a ride. Now it's really high. 17 inches there. It was 12.25 before, 12.25, and it's 13.25. It seems like it should be taller than just 1 inch. Of course it was jacked. We'll measure that again after we drive it. And the valve stems are inset. I'll show you on the other side. Wow, this one has 10.9 PSI in it. Man, I thought these had I thought these were, and the front was 12. I brought it down to 11, and I thought I thought they had like 20 some pounds of air. Really surprised. See how far this valve stem is inset in the rim? Now these are a 5-2 offset. The stock is 6-1 offset, so it's going to be an inch on each side wider. Tusk just didn't have that 6-1 offset for a 15-inch rim. 8.5 psi. I'm going to knock that up to 11. Just when I think I'm getting too old, something happens. So I don't know if I can get it to this. So the first tire, this was the first tire I unwrapped, and this tire was at 18 psi, so I wasn't that far off. All the rest were around 12, and now it's at 16. So I wasn't wrong. It did seem like, because this was the first tire I unwrapped last night, I thought, wow, they put a lot of air pressure in these tires. And now the other three could have leaked. They could have put 20 pounds in all of them, and it could have leaked out. I don't know. The valve stems seem loose. I mean, don't seem real tight. Worried I was going to push them into the rim when I first put the gauge on them. So these are all at around 11 psi. And I'll give you a look. You can see how they look. Okay. It's a tight fit, right? 1/2 inch, looks like 3/4 of an inch in the back. It pays maybe an inch on the rear tires on this side. Let's see how we are over here. Ooh, close. 1/4 of an inch in here. And nothing here. So it just fits on this trailer. This is an old trailer, maybe 30 years old, and she just makes it on this trailer. So that's a win, right? It fits on the trailer. Was worried about that. Boy, the tires look pretty nasty, don't they? Pretty nasty. Gonna take it out on the road. She is jumping the curb. Barely felt it. Didn't even feel anything jumping the curb. I was worried about the alignment. The alignment seems very good. They ride, you know, I heard they wear, guys that ride them, man, you can hear them groaning in the back. those rear tires are grabbing in the back on a tight asphalt turn. Okay. That rock knocked my steering out of alignment. I have to say, it's pretty good. And crazy as it seems, there's not a lot of tire noise. Watch when I hop the curb to go back to my house. Sometimes bigger is better, right? No big deal. No big deal. Really nice. Really nice. I'm pleased. Don't want to do this in the street. It definitely does feel like the tires are weighted. Definitely does not feel as snappy. But you guys know I'm not a real fast driver anyway. Yeah, I'll try to do one more speed run. One more speed run. I'll roll into the throttle gradually. It's more than fast enough for me. Pick up my cron. Okay, let's roll into the throttle again. Okay. Okay. That was good, guys. I think we're all good here. So, Marauders, quick recap. The tires are Tusk Megabite tires, 30 by 10 by 15. Tough to find a tire, more choices in 14-inch rims than you'd have in 15-inch rims. The rims are Tusk 15-inch rims with a 5 by 2 offset. And I think they're Unita is the name of the rim. Unita, I think is how it's pronounced. Give you a look. There's 11, and it looks like there's a lot of pressure on the tires, but there isn't. That tells me that they're a heavy tire, and they are. So the tire, I think, is 57.5 pounds. The rear tires, and I'm not going to remember this right, I want to say the rears were 46 pounds, and the fronts were like 37 pounds. My memory's right. Go back, rewind the video, what it actually was. So I gained 20 pounds on each front, 40 pounds plus 10 in the rear, 70 pounds total for the tires. I don't know if I had much choice in that. The Carnivores would have been about the same weight gain on it, but I think she looks really good. I will tell you, I am going to check when later I'll suds up some water and spray it on the rims to see if the bead locks are leaking or the valve stems are leaking, because most of the tires, 3 of them were at 12 psi, a little over. Last one was at 20 psi, so I'm worried the 3 were leaking. But I think they look fantastic. Remember, it's going to be an inch wider than the stock tires. So I believe this machine actually did measure at the tires 64 inches. Now it's going to be 66 inches plus on the width. Marauders, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Marauders, I think we'll call that a job well done. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Please consider subscribing, liking this video, sharing it with a friend and others. I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you found this video interesting and it can help you when you're selecting tires. I hope to see you on the trail. Be safe.